Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I decided to devote my project to the subject that disturbs me a lot. And I'll start with a little opinion poll. Please raise your hand those who think that Russians as a whole have become less literate for the last, say, decade. Okay. Now please raise your hand those who think that electronic communications puts a strong negative effect on the literacy and language. Nice. According to various surveys, the average rate of positive answers to these questions varies from 50 to 80%, which correlates with your overall opinion very well. But is it electronic communication that destroys our literacy and our language as a whole? Let's analyze possible reasons a bit deeper. First of all, we all live in an era of globalization. And it's no doubt that globalization touches or affects the area of communications no less than the one of politics and economy. For instance, as the global businesses evolve, many business people have to use foreign language more frequently and more intensely. And here lies the rub. Aimed at being understood, they have very little incentive to learn the language any deeper. As a result, they obtain sparse knowledge and the language diminishes as it's not being used, completely used. Another trend which derives from the previous one is the unification. What I mean? A lot of corporate documents, corporate and political documents and templates are created centrally, somewhere in the headquarters. And it is very likely that they do not respect any local rules of language and culture. For instance, proper names, trademarks, and dates and postal addresses should be written differently in Russian, English, French languages, and so on. We should respect it instead of blindly copying it from one document to another. But the most indicative trend of the last decade or two is an ever-increasing speed of life. Not everyone knows that instant messaging, or IM, predates the internet. But initially, it was intended for use by software developers in mainframes for specific scientific purposes. As the internet became widespread, so did IM. But now it is being heavily overused. In order to get the answer in an instant, we totally ignore the majority of rules of grammar, syntax, and style. What makes the matters worse, we generate a series of nearly thoughtless messages, thus totally obscuring the general idea of our message as a whole. The horrible situation is surreal, but nothing is lost, and it is never late to face to our language and our culture. The language is a part of culture. And it is not necessary to come back to handwriting. Instead, I would like to recommend you to start with a simple set of rules from my own example. First of all, send only meaningful sentences containing at least one complete thought. Then, try to avoid mixing different languages, say English with Russian, with Nizhegorod and French, and so on, how it is called. For example, if you speak writing Russian and have a perfect native word, give it a priority and use it. Otherwise, try to find a loan word or loan expression and use it correctly. instead of blindly transliterating it or otherwise distorting. Third, do not ignore or do not belittle grammar and syntax as its very important part. First of all, grammar is intended to help out to parse the sentences. It is very difficult to read the whole long message without a single comma, single capital sign. But moreover, moreover, it is obvious from my experience that the level of grammar correlates very well with the overall level of general education. Last but not least, be curious. If you don't know something, or if you are in doubt of using some words and phrases, refer to the dictionary. Refer to various sources which indicate not only its meaning, but how to use it. How to use it in collocations and how to use it in style and in sense. So instead of a conclusion, or as a little conclusion, I would like to generalize the problem I stated a little bit. We should not follow any, we should not follow any new trends just because they are new as a matter of fashion. Instead, we should analyze when we want to change anything, for example, our manner of writing, which consequences could it have, and hold a strong position to remain grammatically and semantically correct, despite all the others make the same mistakes. Thank you.